All right there, everyone. Are we seeing the end of British Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn? We are, if the latest polls have anything to say about it. That's what we're talking about on today's video. That's right. We now know why Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn is the first minority leader in British history to turn down the offer of a snap election. But we'll also look at how Corbyn can't hide forever. Inevitably, his day of electoral reckoning appears at hand. But first, any way you look at it, the 45th president of the United States has made a massive impact on the world stage. He's bravely ventured into areas that presidents before him have shied away from. He's tackled Kim Jong-un at home territory. That's a first. He's taken on China in a trade war. That's a first. He recently offered to buy Greenland for the United States. How's that for a first? And it's not just overseas. Here at home, his ongoing battle to drain the swamp, the way he fought back against the whole Mueller report fiasco, his refusal to stop fighting for the wall. Simply put, this is a president like no other. And to commemorate our 45th president, our good friends over at Noble Gold have combined their best-selling Trump 2020 Freedom Silver coin and their 10-ounce United We Stand Silver bullion bar into an unforgettable twin set for a special discounted price. Go to TrumpCoin2020.com and enter the code SteveTurley25 to get $25 off this one-of-a-kind set. But don't wait, this is Noble Gold's most popular combo. They're sure to sell out fast. Click on the link below, order your set for a special discount price today. All right, as I'm sure you all know, the Brexit bumbling continues unabated, with Prime Minister Boris Johnson just doing everything he can to deliver a successful Brexit by October 31st. As of today, he has officially suspended the British Parliament until October 15th, when they'll reconvene and at some point hold fresh general elections. Boris is calling for snap elections to regain his Conservative majority. Now, just to bring some of you up to speed, in case you don't quite know what's going on here, several days back, Boris Johnson announced that he had asked the Queen to suspend Parliament until mid-October, literally days before the October 31st Brexit date. Now, this move is not unprecedented by any stretch of the imagination. In the British parliamentary system, the Queen delivers a speech, it's known as the Queen's Speech, written by the government, that typically lists out the main priorities and legislation that the majority government seeks to pass over the course of the next year. And it's standard procedure to suspend Parliament several weeks prior to the speech in order to begin a new parliamentary session. The Queen accepted the request and announced that Parliament would indeed be suspended. But this not before 21 Tory members went rogue and sided with Labour and the Social Democrats to vote to take control of the Brexit away from Boris and give it over to Parliament. In retaliation, Boris fired the 21 defectors, effectively stripping them of any Tory affiliation for the next election, but also crushing his majority. And he called, therefore, for snap elections, fresh elections, immediately, so as to regain his majority in the British Parliament. Such a measure requires a two-thirds majority vote, which is usually just a formality, since the minority party has always accepted the request for new elections. After all, what do they have to lose? Here's their chance to become the majority party, right? But astonishingly, Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the minority Labour Party, he refused to allow for new elections. Well, now it appears that we know why, with some new polls coming out. It looks like we now know precisely why Jeremy Corbyn was the first minority leader in British history to refuse snap elections. The British Express is reporting that Labour's support has dropped dramatically since the last 2017 national election. The latest polls show that Labour's dropped 16 points since 2017. And many are saying that if an election were held today, Labour could lose many of their marginal seats either to the Conservatives or to the new Brexit Party. Remember, one of the biggest problems facing the Labour Party right now is that half of their constituents actually voted for Brexit. The Labour Party right now is uniformly opposed to Brexit, and they're doing everything they can to sabotage the whole process. But half of their voting constituents wanted Brexit, particularly workers, right? Those in the working class, manufacturing, industrial workers. They wanted nothing to do with the EU anymore, most especially the EU forcing immigration policies down the throats of Britons. So Labour risks alienating and losing much of their constituency in a national election, very similar to what happened to them in their local elections and the European parliamentary elections several weeks back. Right now, as we speak, the Conservatives are consistently showing a 9-point lead over Labour, which is obviously very, very significant. And the Brexit Party is consistently posting a slight lead over the Liberal Democrats. So combined, the Tories and the Brexit Party should have a very strong governing majority to bring Britain over the finish line with regard to Brexit. It really is just a matter of getting those elections to happen, which Corbyn is resisting at the moment. And we can now, of course, see the reason why. His Labour Party would get trashed and he'd be thrown out as the Labour leader. Now, what is being reported is that the European Research Group, which is the political strategic arm of the Conservative Party, they are in fact holding talks with representatives of the Brexit Party to form a formal alliance in the event of snap elections, which appear more and more inevitable, at least by the end of the year. And what we're going to have to work out here is where to run Conservative candidates and where to run Brexit Party candidates. The key is not to split the vote, right? You don't want Brexit Party candidates running against Conservatives at this point. The most obvious scenario is you run Brexit Party candidates in areas that are strong Labour territories, but that also voted to leave the EU back in 2016. So these are people who probably never vote for the Tories, but they will vote for a nationalist populist party like the Brexit Party. It's not so tainted in their minds. So that's what's going to need to be worked out. I think both the Conservatives and the Brexit Party recognize that if they run together in individual elections, they're only going to hand over control to Parliament over to Labour and Jeremy Corbyn. And given these polls and how dire things are for Corbyn, there's every reason to maximize their pro-Brexit strength and work together. So obviously we'll be keeping our eyes on how things develop here over the next days. The one snag involves some polling that shows that if Boris fails to deliver a Brexit by October 31st, Labour becomes the primary beneficiary of that. So again, we can see why Corbyn is trying to get another extension past the October 31st deadline. He seems to have everything to gain politically from such an extension, while Boris has everything to lose. So we'll see how Boris and the Brexit Party navigate that one. But as things stand, I'm giving the edge to Boris. I think he and Farage have the leverage here, and that in the end, Corbyn is going to be the one standing as the big loser in all of this. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out some of our awesome merch that celebrates all things nationalist, populist, and traditionalist. Get your love. Check out our really cool nationalist, populist book bundle that you can get. And also click on either our Patreon, subscribe to our PayPal links below, and consider becoming a monthly supporter of this channel. And help us to continue to analyze current events in light of super awesome conservative trends so that you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. God bless.